sorry to the people who keep coming up and keep getting told to go sit down. So frustrating as we've started to grow into these bigger venues, you know, and they're beautiful and they're so wonderful to play, and it's so great to see all of you. But I know that just like you, we're divided too. Sometimes we want a seated audience because we're old and we're tired, and sometimes we want everybody to be standing up and crazy and yelling along and singing because. So I know that it seems that the policy here is to come up and talk to each one of you every single time you come down here, and it's driving me insane to watch it, and I'm sorry that you can't apparently stand there, but you can stand in your seat, and we feel you and we can see you because we have the lights on. So I hope that it doesn't affect the entertainment value of the show for you, and maybe next time we play, we'll play at a venue where you can do either or, but you can do it without being interrupted. One time, I just was going to tell you, it's funny, Tegan was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how beautiful this venue is. Same thing, like, it's so amazing to be able to play venues like this, and it's kind of like getting a corner office at your job or something. Like, you're like, yeah, we get big time now. But then on the other hand, you know, there's always downsides, like you have to behave like an adult in this sort of place. And so I started thinking about one of the first rock shows that me and Tegan ever had, because when we first started playing music, we were in high school, and we used to have like gigs or whatever in our garage, but our first legitimate show was on Halloween when we were in grade 11, and my very best friend in the world at the time, her older brother was in a rock band, and he heard that me and Tegan were playing music, and so he was like, yeah, maybe you guys want to sing in my band and sing my songs, and we were like, okay, sounds fun. So we went over to his house, and we went down into the basement, and there was a bass player and a guitar player and my friend's brother, who was the drummer, and so the guitar player was like, okay, I'll show you my songs, and so we learned his songs, and they were cool, like, you know, it was like just normal rock band stuff, and me and Tegan didn't really do anything besides just sing loudly into the microphone. We didn't really harmonize or anything. We hadn't got that far in our, I don't know, we weren't good yet. And so anyways, we practiced a couple times. We did like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 practices, and then it was like all in anticipation for this Halloween show that we were going to do with this band. And I was excited, and a friend of the band was like, you guys don't have enough songs, like maybe you should let Tegan and Sara do a couple of songs, and you guys can learn them, and you can do your songs and then they can do theirs. And the band deliberated on this, and they decided that was cool. They were going to let us do 2 of our own songs, and so we learned them. And so off we go to the Halloween party. My mom dropped us off. She drove a Jeep. The mom joke? Were you laughing at me? I'm funny again. Sorry, I'm so surprised. I thought someone had come out on stage. I was like, I'm funny. Okay, sorry. So my mom dropped us off in our Jeep, and we didn't even play guitar. I think we just sang at that point. So we just got out of the car, and we were like, my mom always did this thing where she would be like, call me when you want to come home or whatever, and we would be like, okay, well, we'll probably call you at 10. And she'd be like, stay out till midnight. That's your curfew. Stay out. And we're like, we'll probably call you at 10. It's not a sure thing, but... And so we weren't going to drink, you know, or anything fun. So we were just, like, going to play our show. Like, we were professional, even at 16. And so we go into the house, and we go into the basement, and there's about, I don't know, maybe like 20 people at the party. And there's, like, it's adults. Like, they're, like, out of high school, in college. Most of them aren't even in school anymore. They have like regular jobs, you know, whatever, like welding tubes or I don't know, whatever else. And welding tubes still according to adulthood. Yeah, I just know someone who did that. Anyway, all I remember about the basement was that the band gear was set up, and there was a coffin or something made to look like a coffin. Then when you opened it, there was ice with beer in it, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I can very vividly remember thinking, like, I would like to have something like this, like in the future, like a coffin with fucking beer in it. It's insane. But at 16, I'm into that. It's so funny, I'm sorry, the front row, now that we have you lit, like some of you aren't smiling at all, and are you happy? Anyway, so the coffin, the beer, and the show, so we start playing, and there's like 10 people watching us, and I just like closed my eyes, and like I was just excited to be playing the songs, you know, whatever. And I'll always remember that we got to the end of the set, and we got to play our 2 songs, and this is not some like triumphant like story that I want you to cheer at the end, but like clearly when we played our songs, people were way more excited, like way. Written by a 20-year-old man, they were written by like 16-year-old girls, and there was something probably a little bit more intense and literal. I don't know, but the drunk people at the party with the coffin, all that stuff was just like at that time, we really considered ourselves a hit. Like, we were like, we're good. And I remember when the show was over, asking if I could use their phone, and called my mom, and we got picked up, and it must have been like 10:02. It was like, my mom came and got us, and we got in the van, or the Jeep, and she was like, so was it fun? And we were like, yeah, it was pretty cool. And like, that's all we said to her. Like, we didn't like say like, oh, we were amazing, or I want to have a coffin with beer. When I'm older, we can put beer in it, or whatever, but I just remember like getting in the van, in the Jeep, sorry, my mom had a minivan, that's why I keep wanting to say van, but we got in the Jeep, and I remember even then thinking like, you know, okay, like I could do this, like I could have my mom drop me off at places, play a couple songs, you know, didn't get paid or anything, but, you know, I thought that it was the coolest thing in the world, and I had no idea, I actually thought I was going to be a social worker or a teacher, and I had no idea that we would continue to play music